How's everyone doing? All right, well, hope everyone enjoyed the day off somewhat. Our players are a little bit refreshed, getting back to work. The progress this week will be shells today as we kind of continue the acclimation period. We'll be in pads for tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll ramp up the team a little bit more. The emphasis right now still remains on getting our football conditioned the right way, improving on fundamentals, and then we're going to keep advancing with the install and the situations that come up. Today will be a focus on more early downs, just a little bit of goal line walkthrough, and as usual, we'll get a review in the right area, almost on a daily basis. So we'll have that today. That being said, I'll open up to any questions you guys may have.
Any chance to see more of Kadarius today, or is it still kind of a gradual build-up for him?
He's still building up, but we will start seeing a little bit more of him day by day as the trainers keep allowing us to have them more. Look, these guys do a really good job as far as knowing our players and looking out for their health. We trust what they say. We trust our medical team. But the focus is to get this guy involved as much as we can through football and keep building him up through training camp. So it'll be limited for the time being. We'll get him day by day a little bit more. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Joe, what's Ellerson dealing with? How close is he to getting on the field with the team?
He's day by day right now. He's made a lot of progress through the last few days. He had a small setback in early training camp. We don't think it's something that's going to, long-term limit him, but I don't want to put a timetable on him in terms of where his body's going to be. Absolutely. We feel confident about the direction he's moving. The trainers feel good about where he's at right now. Then he's working hard with our strength staff. So very similar to the other players. As soon as we can kind of get him back involved with the team, we will, and it'll be more of a ramp-up, gradual process when he gets back to practice.
Joe, when Shane went down, you guys put Kenny Wiggins in there. Just curious what you've seen from him to put him in that position.
Kenny? Yeah. Well, Kenny's a guy we've known for some time now. He was with us last year. Kenny's a good vet. He's solid. He's very smart. He's got position flexibility. He's played all 5 spots on the line. And he's played in different systems with different coaches. He's a guy that he's got a real good, cool demeanor about him. He adjusts very easily. There's no panic. He's a guy who's got good size and strength to anchor. He plays ahead and faster because of his experience and his communication skills on the line. So Kenny's done a nice job working for us.
Is Shane close? I mean, you said day by day.
Yeah, he's still day by day. I think if you ask Shane, like I said the other day, he's going to always tell us what we want to hear. He's with the medical team right now, and they'll continue doing more and more with him each day. We'll see where he is. Look, hopefully we get him as soon as possible. I can't give you a date on that as far as it is, but I would say it's more day by day than even saying week by week.
Joe, do you normally start camp with such an emphasis on the red zone, or is that a reflection of what the team did last year?
No, we always start that way. We start that way in spring and training camp, and there's more than one reason for that. But I'd say the overall health of the team is important to start them and ramp them up from that low red area where it's reduced space to prevent players before they're fully ready to really truly open up. So we go low red area to high red area to fringe to early downs. We kind of expand the space on them to build them up over time. Now there's other emphasis we make with the team as well in terms of that's the most important area of the field. It's about finishing down there offensively and defensively. The kicking game is a big part of the field position that sets up the opportunities offensively or defensively for the field position at hand. So we place those emphasis for our team so they understand why we're working the emphasis. However, it's truly a physical reason more than anything else.
Joe Looney. Joe Looney, where does he fit? What did you guys like about him?
Well, he's a vet with a lot of experience. He's got experience with Jason before, so there's some familiarity with the system, although it's not carbon copy from before. He'll have to get on the same page some of the new terms and verbiage we have with our line coaches and some of the new system adjustments we've made. I'd say aside from that, he's a good vet. He's got good experience. And he's got a lot of versatility. So whether it's center or guard, he's a guy who gives a moving piece in there. We're going to let him compete at all 3 spots like everybody else. We're going to make sure we build on the versatility. That's always a strength for us. He was out there for the walkthrough the other night with us. Obviously, this was his first day in a training camp, so we'll have to build him up over time. That's not a reflection on what we think of him as a player. It's a reflection on anyone who's first day in camp. We're going to make sure we don't put him out there in a position not ready to go ahead and execute and maybe have an injury or something. And we'll do the same with Alfred Morris today as well, to be honest with you.
Joe, what did you learn about Dexter Lawrence last year? And what are your expectations for him this year?
Well, he's a tremendous teammate, number one. And he's obviously very physically talented. He's a big, athletic man. But when you're with him in the locker room, when you're with him in the cafeteria and traveling, he's a guy that really can lighten the room. He's got that ability to flip the switch on the field and go from being that big, jolly guy to, locking in and playing intense on the field. That room as a whole really does a great job. It's great personalities. There's a lot of ability in there, and they practice and play the right way. In terms of what we expect from him right now, like everybody else, we just expect him to take daily steps going forward. We want daily improvement and consistent play on the field.
How much of a help can he be in the pass rush?
Well, all those guys can be a help, and that ties together with how the back end plays as well to buy them time to get to the passer up front. But we got to stop the run first, put them in passing situations, and then execute going forward.
But he does have some pass rush ability, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, what have you seen from Saquon in terms of progress?
You know what? He's making a lot of strides for us, and I don't want to go ahead and make any predictions or anything on Saquon, but I will say that, you know, this guy is showing progress, tangible progress every day with our medical staff, with our strength staff. He comes out here and works. Right now, we've really mirrored his rehab to what our players are doing on the field practice-wise to make sure that he's building up that same volume, that same intensity. We can go ahead and put kind of apples to apples with what he's done on a daily basis compared to our players that are in practice. Gives us a better picture in terms of where he is physically.
So would you consider that like a simulated practice for Saquon at this point, or is he not quite to that level?
I wouldn't say simulated practice because there's no one across from him at this point. So there's differences in that, but in terms of the volume of what he's working, whether it's simulating the routes on air, receivers and backs are running, whether it's simulating, you know, just the overall loads we have in practice. But as you watch him, I know you guys are looking at him, you know, period by period, you know, his rehab is structured to mirror what the other players on the field are doing as much as possible.
How close do you consider getting ready to get into real practice?
I couldn't give an answer on that. That's not being coy right there, Jordan. It's, look, with this injury right here, we're going to make sure we do the right thing by Saquon, and that's better for the team. And we got to take a long-term vision at this right here. The doctors know a lot more than me about where he is medically. I know where his spirit is. I know where his work ethic is. I know he wants to be out there with the team. As I've said to him time and time again, when you're ready, we'll let you go. Okay, I know he wants to be out there, but we've got to make sure we, you know, help our players make the right decisions. The goal is to get him out there and keep him out there. We know he can make a great impact for this team. We know, you know, what kind of player he can be. So we want to make sure we put him in the opportunity he can go ahead and play full speed, aggressive, and confident when he gets out there.
Joe, does Blake have to catch up to get back on the field, or is he ready to go?
I would say the good thing with Blake is he's been engaged through all the meetings, so he's heard the practice corrections, the install. So mentally, you know, he's gotten all that. Now, there's always an adjustment from hearing a meeting and actually doing it on the field. Physically, he hasn't been with our team yet, so he's got to ramp up and physically catch up to where the team is right now, and that's just natural for all these guys to come off this COVID list.
With Alfred Morris, is that a sign that you're concerned about Saquon being ready, or just more depth?
No, this is overall just an opportunity to, number one, have depth to go ahead and practice what we want to practice, and also having the opportunity to bring a quality player back in. Alfred was his last year. Look, I can't tell you how much I feel, you know, on a personal level about Alfred, about what he did for our team last year, about how he carries himself, about how he is as a teammate and he is for the team competing. We love having him in the building. You know, look, I had to walk by him today when I was coming in the building. He was waiting outside for his clearance from his test. We got to have a conversation sitting outside, and it's refreshing seeing his face. He's always smiling, good, great energy out there. So, again, like anybody else, he has an opportunity to come in here and compete for a spot on this team. We had the opportunity to bring him back, and he helps, you know, our competition within that spot.
Joe, you guys obviously, I mean, we asked you about Looney. Was that something that was precipitated by what happened with Shane early in the week, or did you guys always have a focus on the interior line and you were going to look to bring in somebody?
Well, at this point in the year, to be honest with you, we're looking all across the board at different players, different positions. So you'll see us throughout the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, work out all types of guys at different positions. And we're trying to see who's out there and have our short list ready. If there's someone that we feel can help us based on either numbers, need, or just competition at that spot at any point in training camp and they're available, we'll look to go ahead and bring them in and get them with the team and get them moving and compete.
Where is Tae Crowder in his development as he begins year 2? Tae Crowder?
Yeah, I think Tae's doing a good job. Obviously, last year he had a little bit of setback with some physical ailments coming to training camp. This year, being healthy at the jump gives him a better start on the season. He's a guy that showed a lot of growth mentally, maturity-wise throughout the season last year, and he's got to go ahead and just keep on building on that base going through this year. But again, we all start back over, so like everybody else, the fundamentals of conditioning, the understanding of the schemes, communication, that's all got to improve every day.
One more class.
How has Aziz done on the mental part of picking up the defense? Because it looks like he's earned some quality reps early on, at least.
Yeah, the real test will be when the pads come on, but I'd say in terms of his mental understanding of the systems and schemes, he's made progress in that. There's some similarities through the defense, what he played in college. It's not the same, but there's similarities, enough that gives him a little bit of a jump, you know, verbiage-wise or, you know, scheme understanding-wise, something he can relate to something he's done in the past. You know, the biggest thing with Aziz right now is he's really shown us a lot of jumps in how he came in shape in training camp. When we saw him in the spring, like all rookies, I tell you all the time, they come in, they're not ready to go. That was evident with, you know, the way some of those guys handle the conditioning throughout practice in the spring. We watch him out there through the duration of practice, of able to maintain his conditioning level, conditioning at the end of practice, where he is in the pack as far as running. You know, he's not towards the back, he's getting up there towards the front. So the demonstration of how he worked and got himself in physical shape to come in has helped him to this point.